Hello, everyone. It is Monday, July 28th. Welcome to another episode of Together San Diego. I'm your host, Luis Cruz, Community Relations Director for the San Diego Union-Tribune. And joining me this afternoon is Kelli Gillespie and Ling Nazar, co-founders of Family Entourage, a website that introduces you to celebrities, but also provides you with resources and advice for parents and families. Ling and Kelli, thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
I'm glad to have you back. Of course, this is a very stressful time for parents right now, especially not knowing really what's going to happen with the school year and whether their kids are going to start off with distance learning or whether you'll be able to actually be able to attend class in person. What have you heard as parents, and what do you plan to do with your kids?
Well, you're right, Luis. It's such an interesting time, and anxiety is at an all-time high for parents because it's changing daily. The most recent news that we know as parents was when Governor Gavin Newsom basically said that if you're one of the 32 counties in California that is on the watch list, both private and public schools cannot have in-person classrooms in the fall. So of course that sent everybody scrambling. What does that mean? And it's still a little unclear on some areas. There is the possible option that an elementary school could petition and put a waiver out there that would allow for in-classroom education in the fall if they met social distance standards and also some other criteria that's been laid out by the governor. But we're talking 5 million students in California alone,
yeah, California.
685 school districts. This is a big deal, and parents need help.
Yes, and that's why we started coming up with things. You know, when everything happened in the spring, I was looking back at my former camp counselor days and saying, all right, we got to start doing some of the things here because, you know, the teachers were doing the best they could, sending home packets or trying to do Zoom interactions or classes with the kids. But you know, at the end of the day, if you're a working parent, sometimes you're working 10, 12-hour days. And then on top of that, now you're trying to teach a kid for 6 or 7 hours. And if we do the math, we know that doesn't add up.
All right, so this afternoon, we're going to be talking about how to overcome some of those challenges of online learning. And one of those challenges is that students can become disengaged with wanting to be on the computer after being on Zoom for so long. So what are some resources for parents looking for positive screen time?
Yeah, you know, so it's so funny because when everything happened in the spring, my son was 5 at the time and doing, you know, he was in a pre-kindergarten class. And my husband was saying, well, why isn't the teacher doing a Zoom class with them for 6 or 7 hours? And for anyone that has actually sat in the room with their kids during Zoom, whether they're 5 or 15, you know that they don't last very long on those Zoom classes. Even if they have the most engaging teachers, it can be very challenging. And so, you know, one of the things that we implement in our house is positive screen time. So finding games or activities or things that they love and letting them do that. One thing is this awesome, it's called Osmo. So it works with your iPad or your Fire tablet and it's all hands-on. So you use these little pieces, and this one is a game where they're doing math and you slide it in, and my son lives for this. So if I say, okay, we're going to do our worksheets or whatever the teacher has sent home, and then he looks forward to doing the Osmo time. Now, Osmo has this awesome thing too. It's this little reflector. Again, you have to have the reflector kit, but they have a free app. And this is great, especially for older kids that are working on assignments where a teacher would normally be able to come over your shoulder and help you with a math problem or help you correct a sentence. If you have the reflector and work with an iPad or Fire tablet, then the teacher can work back and forth with the student and correct them. We know that can't necessarily happen on Zoom. They can only, you know, maybe hold up a piece of paper on Zoom. But again, Osmo is great for interactive learning. It's all hands-on. And they can learn everything from coding to math and science and geography. And it starts with games as young as 3 years old and goes all the way up to 12.
And what are some practical tips so that parents don't feel guilty?
And that's the first thing is you have to give yourself grace, right? That was the first thing I had to do in my home, was give myself grace and realize, okay, I'm a working full-time parent. My husband's working full-time. My son still has to learn, but giving yourself grace. No one's telling you that they have to be doing their homework lessons from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Make your own hours for your family. The second thing is what we do is we use screen time when mommy has to be on a Zoom call. or something like that. So I have strategic times where I'm using that screen time, and screen time can also be a show that they love, that they, will watch Magic School Bus or Word World or something that ties into an academic principle. And then we save the fun movies or whatever for the evening as more of a relaxing time.
Great. Now, many people are concerned that learning from home will just increase the digital divide and the gap between families that have more resources and those who don't. What's your advice for those parents that are concerned, and what type of free resources are out there?
Yeah, I think that this is a huge conversation that needs to be had, because it affects everybody, regardless of which side you end up falling on, because we're all a community and it's important that we all thrive together. So free resources are huge. And one of the sites that we found that has one of the most comprehensive availabilities for that is Educational Insights. And they've got these fantastic downloads. You go on there, you click on their free section, and they've got everything from filling your day. This is a type of schedule week that is so great because it's practical. It's broken out. This one's for 7 to 8-year-olds. There's 5 and 6-year-olds. There's little kids. It tells you from 7 a.m. when they wake up in the morning what they could be doing, blocking out their day. And then there's tons of downloads. And these aren't just coloring sheets. These are, word blends. So it's helping your littles work on their learning and their reading and better speaking and writing and spelling, to a little bit older things like this really fun Nancy B science project, Phases of the Moon. This one I can't wait to try out with my kids. Basically, you take the worksheet that you printed, you go outside, and for 28 days, you look at the moon at the exact date and the exact time, and then you draw what you see because the moon changes. So it's practical ways that you can learn about science that still makes it fun. And these can be printed out, and depending on the level of your child's skill, they can either do them independently on their own, or they might need a little coaching from mom and dad, but it at least is equipping you so that you can download all of these worksheets. They even have learning bundles, and this is a whole thing put together that has math and science and spelling and reading that tells you this will take about 30 minutes if you print it all out and you use it for your child. But then, like Meg said, sometimes you have 2 working parents trying to work from home and you're competing for time and space. Or in my case, we have multiple kids and I need to be putting one down for a nap. So what does my son do while he's unattended for a little bit? So we love with Educational Insights too that they have these talking toys. This is their Geo Safari line, and you push a button and the telescope tells you fun facts. You can take a quiz. They have an amazing talking globe that Lindy Irwin narrates, and you point to different areas geographically, and it will tell you animals that are from that area or regions, and anything that we can do that will keep our kids learning and engaged, and sometimes requires mom and dad to be involved in or a nanny or a grandparent, but at other times can be done independently too.
All right, Kelli and Mei-Ling, one of the things you talked about was letting out some steam. So are there other ways that parents and educators can get creative with STEAM-based learning?
Yeah, I think, Louise, you think about STEAM and what you would typically do in a classroom, right? You'd be doing the science experiments, or you might be learning coding in the classroom with a teacher. And so we have to get really creative as parents and educators, how we're going to still be doing those STEAM principles, because we know that so many of today's jobs are requiring those skills. And so, but again, it can be simple. We love this book. It's called Animal Exploration Lab for Kids. The pictures that you just showed was the kids doing a blubber experiment. And this is put together by Maggie Reinbold from our favorite San Diego Zoo. And there's 52 activities, and every activity is something fun that can do. Yesterday we built bird feeders with just a simple pine cone and peanut butter, but then it tells you a science fact about that, why the animals do that, or what adaptations the animals have. So you might be taking a science lesson that your kids are getting from their teacher, or something that you've developed for your kids, and then just coming up with a little DIY experiment for it. Another great one is chemistry for kids. So these are all things that you can find in your kitchen. You're not having to go out and buy a ton of stuff, and it's simple little everyday things, and it has the what the scientists who had different experiments that go along with it, and then the history of it, and then how the kids can do something. So these are also probably things that you can find at the library. The library is still doing, many of the libraries are still doing checkout. You just have to reserve things online. So if you go to our website, you can see the titles that we recommend for these STEAM challenges. But again, a lot of these things you can also find online. And I just love, again, going back to my camp counseling days, getting the kids engaged. So I do like a little thing in the beginning of our day when we're starting our learning lesson, like the bird feeder or a little experiment, and then we get them engaged, and then we sit down and read either the lesson that's in the book or something else that the teacher has shared with us too.
Okay. All right. Now, so many families have unfortunately canceled their trips this year. How can you still get creative and travel across the country?
I know, we are one of those. We love to travel. We love to go places and introduce new cultures to our kids throughout the world and through the country. And so, a lot of missed expectations with canceled trips, but you can still travel across America through the pages. And so we love these Kay Miller books that are talking about, history uncovered through the USA. And it goes through and it talks about from, the birth of a nation all the way through like the Louisiana Purchase, and it grows, and you're learning historical facts about where we are around us. And then, as your kids get older, state capitals. The thing that's so neat about this book is that when you flip through it, it breaks it up state by state, what the capital is, what the flag is, the bird, famous landmarks, so you can kind of travel through the pages. And we want to keep kids engaged. I love this series. It's called Shine a Light series. This is Wonders of the USA. And the cool thing about this is that when I give it to my son, I give him a flashlight, he turns it on, and you go to a page and you read about the Statue of Liberty, and then you can shine the light through the back, and I'll probably be able to see on screen. And then it highlights, and you get everything inside of it. So you're learning that, her crown is an observation deck, and maybe next time we go, we can take a turn and climb up all the stairs with inside her. And you're able to learn about the different things and why each state's unique and why it's important, and some of their favorite foods and so forth. So for us, traveling through pages is always really fun and a great way to experience different culture.
Now, are there free resources that you can print out when it comes to this?
Yes, Kay Miller, which is a San Diego publishing company, they have a whole section on their website where it's playing and teaching. They've got study guides, they've got lesson plans. So a lot of things that are tied to their books, and then a lot of other aspects of it where you can just walk through and do a lot of thought-provoking questions.
Okay, great.
I think, Louise, too, to add with that is that with all of these things, what we've seen as parents is that sometimes the teachers and the administration are doing the best they can to get us resources or plans. But we also, at the end of the day, the positive to this, because you have to look at the positive, otherwise you're just going to feel anxious and discouraged. The positive to this is that, you're, as a parent or grandparent or nanny, that kid best. And so taking those things that they love doing, those things that they enjoy doing, and building off of that. So yes, you're still going to go through the curriculum that the teacher gives you for online learning, but adding in whether it's traveling through the world or a science experiment that they love to build that. And you're going to see your kids, I've seen, even this past spring, I've seen my son thrive in ways that I haven't seen before in the handful of years that he's been at school. And so he went from struggling to write and read to now we're almost reading our own book on his own. And so love that.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, kids still need to get outside, and there are some fun ways to do that. What do you suggest?
Yes. So, we can't spend all of our time indoors, nor do we want to. Most important thing first, mask up, save lives. We love this company, Little Navy, because they make mommy and me masks. How adorable.
Oh, cute.
Yes, my 1-year-old is wearing this mask. She thinks it's comfortable. She loves matching mommy. So we love that. You can even match their outfits. But once you're masked up, then, go outside, ride your bikes, go on a field trip. Yeah, there's my son and husband wearing their baseball mask last week with, opening day. They wanted to make sure and support. But go outside, take a walk, ride bikes. And sun protective clothing is so important. There's my daughter. She's wearing Petey Pit shoes, which she can wear in water or at the beach and sand, and the sun protective clothing from Coolie Bar, so I know that that fair skin is not getting burned. There's the boys on their bikes. They're, letting out some energy. They're having fun. They are riding away from people, so they're not masked up there. But when we do go to the beach, they're, she's got her matching mask with her little navy dress and her Coolie Bar hat on. But
very cute.
Yeah, anything like that. Anything you can do to encourage exploration. Check out the tide pools when you're walking on the beach. See if you can identify different rocks or erosion and the science from the cliffs that you see on the side. If you're walking on a hike, maybe take a leaf finder and go through and collect different leaves or see what insects that you can see in person. My son loves it when he sees the lizards darting by and he's fast enough to catch up with them, or a butterfly and its beautiful wings, and it jogs his memory as something that he's seen in one of the books or in one of the worksheets. So I think as much as you can explore nature, we're so fortunate to live in San Diego where the weather is nice all the time, and we have mountains and we have beaches, and of course we hopefully have backyards where we can just have a lot of time where we can be outdoors and still be safe, and also not have our kids think that exploration is a negative thing during this time.
Right. Well, that seemed like a lot of fun there. Nice little breaks. We could all use some breaks. You say, sometimes getting up for a snack can also be a distraction, though. What are some things you have found helpful?
Yes.
Engaged and energized.
Yes. I don't blame them, because I was the same way, I think, growing up, always looking for an excuse to get out of my homework assignment. So something that Kelli and I have done is just like building a little snack station. Whether it's at the kitchen table where they're doing their homework or wherever they're doing. That way they don't have to get up and come back and then go to the bathroom. Everything's right there. So we just put together like a little snack station. We have these little bobos, little oat bars, which are great, or more of a granola bar, so we do that. Water, so we have lemon perfect water. And then this is great too. I make them smoothies, and these are great because it's cost brand. And what it does is it just has all the fruits and vegetables in there. So you can see all the vegetables that they probably wouldn't eat if you showed it to them. You just put a scoop in their water, scoop in their smoothie, and they have all their fruits and veggies. And again, because that's making sure that they have the food that they need for the nutrients that they need, so they can focus and concentrate. Because I think one of the first things that happened was when mommy was on all these crazy Zoom calls last spring, my kids were like, I need, they wanted all the sugary treats, and I was just giving it to them because I didn't want to be distracted from the phone. So having a little station with healthy snacks, and then using the occasional sweet treat when they've done really well the whole day or the whole week or something, is going to be much better. I can speak from experience.
we took this play out of the tech world, right? Because Google does it, and it keeps their employees working longer when they can go grab snacks that are complimentary. So we said, hey, I think some little kids will like this too.
Right, exactly. That's some good advice there. Now, you're also, as I mentioned, co-founders of Family Entourage. Tell us more about Family Entourage. How do you come up with it, and what can people find on your website?
Yeah, so we're real passionate about Family Entourage. Both of us work in the media field. And when we started having kids, we wanted to show more of how families all look alike. And we deal a lot with celebrities and influencers and speakers and authors. And we thought, at the end of the day, they're just parents too. They're trying to change diapers. They're going to be homeschooling in the fall. We have a lot of celebrity interviews where it'll be recognizable faces, and they'll tell you what they're doing, how they're navigating COVID, and maybe some tips that have worked for them. We tie it in with a lot of films that are releasing and activities. And then we do great giveaways. One of the things we encourage you, go to familyentourage.com and you can download. We've got links to all the free resources that we talked about, and products if you'd like to purchase. And then we're going to be doing a big giveaway for back to school, where many of the items that you saw today, you'll be able to take home, because at the end of the day, we really want to equip parents. We want them to get the resources that they need in their hands. We want them to get, excited about extras that come their way. And then we also just kind of want to stumble through what we're doing with them too. And we feel like it hopefully is an encouraging and a positive and an inspirational part of your day. That can give you kind of a sigh of relief, like, okay, I'm not alone.
It's a nice break for parents. And anything else you'd like to add?
I think, if people want to, whether comment on this post or direct message us through social media, we are always open to trying parents to answer any questions that they might have. Just like Kelli was saying, we are in this with you too. We do not have it all together. A lot of the things that we shared last week and this week was from personal experience, but then also asking our group of mom friends and parent friends and educators what they're learning too. And so I think that's out of that collaborative experience, we can all help each other. And as we enter the fall, helping other parents, if you see someone that might need some extra groceries, be willing to buy them extra groceries, or if they need school supplies for their kids, they might not ask you, just offer, just buy it, put it on their doorstep, little things like that.
Yeah, and I think back to the collaborative aspect, if there's something that you'd like for us to see us do more, or if there's something you could contribute, we also are working hard. We want to put together a list of hotline numbers and important conversations and things that you can use for when you hit that wall and you don't know where to turn, and you don't have, a parent or a friend or somebody that's walked through the experience that you're experiencing. So we're also working on all levels, because this is something that we're navigating that's definitely new, and no one thought that they would find themselves in this situation for 2020. But like May said, we're embracing it and we're looking for the positive.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think it's great what you're doing. Thank you for all the useful advice and resources. Kelli, Gillespie, Ling, Nazar, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. And thank you at home for watching. Have a great day and a great week, everybody.
Have you heard the news? There's a global health crisis going on right now. I'm Bill Walton, here with a challenge to all of you. We're having a contest sponsored by our San Diego Union-Tribune. Send us your ideas for different public service announcements and show us your thoughts on how we can all help stop the spread of COVID-19. Together, San Diego, let's get it done.